The other half of video is audio, and anyone who says otherwise is a vidiot. So we're in Movie Studio 16 Platinum. I have just thrown some audio in from a video project I did for Tech Dive where I'm unboxing a microphone, believe it or not. And the reason I'm buying a microphone is because I don't have very nice mics, and having a Rode shotgun mic is definitely going to improve my audio. So this was actually recorded with a Blue Snowball mic, which is a desktop mic, and I used it just kind of next to me while I unboxed. It does okay, but it's not the most ideal miking scenario, and that's left us with some audio clutter. And so what we're going to do is talk about like ideal dialogue audio and how to use movie studios to bring that out. Now, this is from a video guy, not an audio guy. So half of video is audio. So I know half as much as I'm supposed to know about audio. So the reason I say that is audio is a big bear. It's got a lot to learn. And when you put it in, put all your audio from the same mic on the same track. That's a really good rule of thumb. Just keep your audio from the same mic. If it's from the same mic in the same take in the same room, put it on the same track. If it's on the same mic with the same take, meaning like same angle, same volume and everything, and in a different room, it could change everything. So put it on a different track. So keeping that in mind, when you got all your audio on the same track, you need to go to your audio effects, and we're going to open this up and hit track effects. And this shows us the 3 effects that are naturally on every single Vegas audio track. That I just kind of want to focus on my voice and let that kind of apply to the rest of it as we go. So I'm going to right click and hit loop playback region. This is going to let me
right there
loop this area
and standard 1/8 inch jack, which makes it super handy now, and standard 1/8 inch jack, which makes it super.
Sorry, there's no preview video. This isn't working. You're going to have to use pause and play down here. So the first thing we're going to do is ignore these track and stuff right now. We're going to actually add a new one because we're going to be grading the audio. I don't always do this with all my projects, but this is one that could use it. So let's see. We're going to add graphic EQ. And so in the graphic EQ, it's really great that Movie Studios has this awesome thing. We're going to move it in between track EQ and track compressor. And we're going to go to the 20 band, and we're going to listen to the audio play. Now, here's the thing. We're listening for stuff that's not my voice, and we're going to turn that down. We're not turning anything up. Turning things up in EQ is not ideal. You do that in audio restoration, and there's lots of things that big audio professionals can tell you all sorts of stuff about when to do that. But one thing they will always tell you is don't just do that willy-nilly. You gotta reduce the bad noises, not necessarily bring up the good one. Your human voice, it starts between 80 and 100, maybe 160, depending on the frequency of your voice, and it's going to kind of move through this area right here. But then there's also going to be some latent frequencies where you kind of rattle or hiss with your words, and those will kind of be up here. And then you're going to have just room noise that's just ambient and stuff that's going to be up here, and you're going to have room noise down here that's just going to be kind of a bass movement and stuff. And so saying that you're EQing for just a human voice, we can ignore these top and bottom for now.
And standard 1/8 inch jack, which makes it super.
And I'm going to turn one of these up.
Jack, which makes it super.
You can see it doesn't really make my voice super weird. It really just adds more bass to it. I'm going to double click it and make it go back to normal and listen to the next one.
And standard 1/8 inch jack, which makes it super handy.
So that's the first one that really kind of booms and has a bit of a to it. But we're not going to mess with that one because the first one is just kind of the frequency surrounding your voice. So the first time you hear a kind of a boomingness to the audio, you'll see what I'm talking about in just a second if you hang on. The first time you hear it, ignore that one. That one's just your voice's first kind of output.
And standard 1/8 inch jack, which makes it super handy now.
So that one, though, is you can hear really kind of a... That is the first one that I'm going to say has some extra room noise to it. It's not just my voice sounding weird, because your voice is going to sound weird. You're screwing with the EQ in a weird way. You're going to make your voice sound weird. It's not about that. It's about what extra noises you're bringing up with it. Does it whoosh? Does it whoosh? Do you get that extra noise in with your voice? And if you do, you need to reduce that.
And standard 1/8" jack, which makes it super.
There's like big popping there. I'm going to reduce that to about 8 decibels there. Now let's move over and try the next one.
Standard 1/8" jack, which makes it super handy now. And standard 1/8" jack, which makes it super.
Do you hear that? That is the next one. It definitely has an extra.
And standard.
So we're going to move that down. Sorry for the annoying noises I'm making. I'm trying to emulate what I'm talking about so you can understand that I'm talking about it. So we're talking about annoying noises, so I have to make annoying noises. I'm sorry. So
and standard 1/8" jack, which makes it super handy now. And standard 1/8" jack, which makes it super.
So I'm going to end up lowering this one too. Now, something I know about this microphone already is that it's kind of MIDI. So for me, I'm probably going to have the whole mids reduced, which is why a lot of audio professionals come in and are like, oh, that microphone's MIDI, and they'll go ahead and reduce mids and stuff. But that's not you. That's not me. Unless you're the audio guy, then comment below and tell me more. I want to learn more. But that's not necessarily us right now. We're trying to figure out what's going on with this audio right here in this room. So we're not making blanket statements. Now, I can tell you mine's probably going to be MIDI because I'm used to this microphone, so I'll be reducing the mids. Your microphone or the room you're in or whatever your issue is, you might have 1 low, 1 normal, 1 low, 1 normal. You might have 2 low, 1 normal, 2 low. There might be all sorts of different combinations. So don't expect, if you have 1 down and the rest are sounding fine, trust yourself. If you think it sounds fine, like your voice sounds weird because you've EQ'd it weird, but you don't hear an extra or hiss or roar, then it's probably fine. Just leave it. Only reduce it if it is the bad sounding stuff. And so for me, this one's probably going to sound bad too.
It's jack, which makes it super handy now. And standard 1/8" jack, which makes it super handy now. And standard 1/8" jack, which makes it.
So that one, it's not just that it sounds like I'm in a walkie-talkie. It's the fact that it sounds like there's like a buzz to it.
And standard 1/8" jack, which makes it super.
So I'm already noticing it sounds a little bit cleaner.
Jack, which makes it super handy now. And standard 1/8" jack, which makes it super.
Now that one, it sounds like I'm listening to a seashell. There's like an ocean in there.
And standard 1/8" jack, which makes it super handy now. And standard 1/8" jack, which makes it super.
Now that's where my computer speaker is.
And standard 1/8" jack, which makes it super handy now. And standard.
So I'm going to reduce that one too. It's actually coming out a little different than the Vegas Pro one I did, and that just goes to show that there's a lot of variables.
And standard 1/8" jack, which makes it super handy now. And standard 1/8" jack, which makes it super handy now. And
so that one sounds normal to me. It sounds obviously wrong because it's not supposed to be jacked up that high, but I don't hear the warbles. There's one in here that I might change.
And standard 1/8" jack, which makes it super handy now. And standard 1/8" jack, which makes it super.
So I'm going to say this one right here. I think I was wrong to lower it all the way because I think the issues are more of the surrounding audio, not necessarily that one right there.
And standard 1/8" jack, which makes it super handy now. And standard 1/8" jack.
There we go. So it shouldn't change it a lot. You shouldn't be hearing drastically different audio. And also, side note, if you don't have studio headphones, you're welcome to click my affiliates link below and order some cheap studio headphones that really help make a difference. Or don't do that. Just get studio headphones. Get some sort of studio speakers. If you're editing on a regular basis, it super helps. If you don't have that, don't do detailed audio work. Do basic volumes and don't trust yourself. You can do some basic audio work, but speakers lie to you. It's not you, it's the speakers. I've made a lot of bad audio mistakes on YouTube that you can still watch to this day on our other channel. We're really even on this channel because I trusted bad speakers. And also, I just make mistakes. But that is something super important.
And standard 1/8 inch jack, which makes it...
So what you've done is you've reduced the bad noise. Now, for this mic, the bad noise was a lot, and I'm going to have to actually hike up the volume a little bit to compensate for that. And
as I thought it was going to be.
That way we're bringing up all the volume because I've lowered the volume because there's just less of my voice there. But we're bringing it up, but we're not bringing up the bad noises as much. Every time there's a volume raise, we're not raising the bad noises as much as we're raising the good noises. Now, something I mentioned in the pro tutorial, if you have lower frequencies that you want to get rid of, you can do a round off the lower frequencies. You can even round off the higher frequencies. You don't necessarily have to do this. I'm just demonstrating to you that this isn't really going to affect our audio too much, because if you do it over where your voice actually is, you're going to hear some major audio differences. But these really, really high ones, these really, really low ones, reducing that may reduce some warbles, room noise, hums, or something, but it not necessarily change your audio. So that may be a good idea for you. It may not be, just pending.
And standard 1/8 inch jack, which makes it super...
So you notice there's not a big difference there, even though we did some big changes, because these lows and highs aren't really mattering. So now, we still got an issue, though. Volume.
This is the windscreen. Let's see how it comes off there. This little notch here makes it difficult for it to come off.
There's something I like about what's going on right now, and that is when I've stopped talking, there's no audio.
The windscreen.
And so when I stop talking, there's no audio. That's really good. That means that's why I recorded it so quiet. Because I wanted to record as little room noise as possible. I wanted it to not really register when I wasn't talking, only recording my voice. But I have to do that because I don't have very good mics, and they typically just pick up more room noise than I want them to when I record at more appropriate volumes than I would for more expensive mics. So if you turn it up to compensate for that, you're also turning up the room noise. And so there's a couple of things that we need to do.
See how it comes.
I can just turn it up like that.
This little notch here makes it difficult for it to come.
I can just turn it up like that, but it still doesn't turn it up enough.
Come off. It's about the size I thought it was going to be.
See, you can that room noise. You can hear it now, and it's right there. It hovers right about 51. And then our voice needs to be between 6 and 12. This area right there. It can go a little higher, a little lower, but it really needs to be kind of hitting consistently between 6 and 12. My voice isn't very consistent. Sometimes I'm really loud, sometimes I'm really soft. And so adding a compressor or using this track compressor is going to help make my voice consistent, which means I only have to turn it up a certain amount, and hopefully I can kind of squelch more of this room noise out and turn it up just enough that my voice gets right there and not any louder. And so I only have to turn up the room noise so much. Something I meant to note on the pro tutorial, and you're getting on this one, is always listen to it a little quiet and a little loud. When you're done, kind of check it quiet and check it loud, because sometimes bass doesn't travel the same way at different volumes. So you kind of want to check it both ways. Check it very quiet, check it very loud. Your quieter one's going to be more realistic than your louder one. Like you EQ it quiet, turn it up loud to make sure you're right. That's kind of a good rule of thumb. So next, we're going to add this compression right here. Now, what a compressor does, it makes your loud sounds softer and your soft sounds louder. It compresses it. It smushes your audio a little bit to make it more consistent. And that's exactly what we want to do with this. It may not always be the best idea to add one, but a lot of times it is a great idea to add one. I'm not an audio guy. That's a super rough explanation. I wish I could explain these better, but essentially this is the ratio of how much it squishes the audio, the 2-to-1 or the 3-to-1 or the 6-to-1 or the 1.5 to 1. And so that 151 at 1.5 to 1 compression, I like it a lot for this microphone in my current room noise situation. So I'm going to pick this one, but you can see the different compressions do different things. I'll show you. A notch here makes it difficult for it to come off. It's about the size I thought it was going to be. It's 10 to 1 compression. It's got the nice little Rode logo right there. Let's do 2 to 1. It's about the size I thought it was going to be. You hear a lot of room noise in that. This 1.5 to 1 notch here makes it difficult for it to come off. It's about the size I thought it was going to be. I feel like does the best job of not raising the room noise with my audio. It doesn't compress my audio a ton though. It does a small compression of my audio. But I'm trying to do that to also compensate for the room noise. Like I said, that you might need to pick one of these other ones. Don't make a custom compression because you probably, if you're watching me and learning audio from me, you don't know enough to make your own compression. If you do, let me know in the comments how I can improve and what I can do, because audio is a huge and nasty beast. It's a big side of video, and we're always learning more about it. It's the most difficult to tame of the two beasts, of the video and audio. Audio is the crazier one. So, with audio, now that we got this gain, we can actually make it louder to get it more to where we want it to go. And standard 1/8 inch jack, which makes it super, super handy now. And standard 1/8 inch jack, which makes it super, super handy now. And standard 1/8 inch jack, which makes, so that makes it louder and makes it where this is where my voice is supposed to be. I'm going to reduce some of the input gain because that will kind of artificially remove some of the room noise a little bit as well. And standard 1/8 inch jack, which makes it super, super handy now. And standard 1/8 inch jack, which makes it super, super handy now. And standard 1/8 inch jack, which makes it, but still yet, it's not quite loud enough now that I've reduced some of the input gain. What I'm also going to do is see, I made a mistake. So everything I said is still valid, but it's, I'm just glad I saw this. So I had this turned up all the way to show you, to make this more clear, and so you could hear what was going on with me. But it's still really quiet, actually. It's got the nice little Rode logo right. So what that did is accentuate everything I was talking about. But in reality, I wouldn't just have that to max. So if you turn this up to max following along, you probably need to redo it without it turning up to max. It'll help accentuate and your issues, and it helped show you this stuff, but that was something I meant to turn back down. And standard 1/8 inch jack, which so makes now it's super handy. It's much quieter, and so we can go back into here. We can even raise the volume a little bit more now. And standard 1/8 inch jack, which makes it super, super handy now. And standard 1/8 inch jack, which makes it super, super handy now. And then now we're going to raise the volume a little bit here. This is the windscreen. Let's see if how it comes off there. This little notch here makes it difficult for it to come off. It's about the size I thought it was going to be. It's got the nice little Rode logo right there. So it's not the best audio in the first place, and so when we turn it back up, it brings back so many of the issues that we're trying to get rid of. But what we've done is we've minimized all the issues as much as we can, so where my voice comes out as clear as it can up here, and the room noise stays as low as it can down there. You want room noise low, voice high, and that's everything we've been doing, is just trying to keep the room noise low and the voice high. And standard 1/8 inch jack, which makes it super, super handy now. So now if you mix in music and stuff like that, you're not fighting the room noise as much with the music. You can put a compressor on the music to keep the music high and lows together, so you can kind of keep all of that at one volume. You can there's a lot of things you can do now to help get everything good. But for a standard video, if you YouTube video, you're really shooting between 6 and 12 for your audio. You can get a little higher or a little lower, but you don't want to be clipping or getting kind of distortion if you go past that. You also, your music probably needs to hover around the 30s. Keep your music around here compressed as well. You don't want it going too low, or it'll just blend in with your room noise and you won't be able to hear it. When people listen to it, they're hopefully not having to listen to it on full blast. And when they listen to it on YouTube, they're probably turning it down. And when they turn it down, you've got audio where it can be nice and clear and heard. And when they turn it down, they'll turn down your room noise as well, and your music and everything will kind of match that EQ and still be sound nice even if they turn it down. If they turn it up because they need to hear you, you'll have the audio there to be turned up. It won't be one of those videos that you turn it up, and then you get to the point where you're like, does it not get any louder? I still can't hear it. That's what happens when you don't have your audio high enough there. So thank you so much for watching this audio grading tutorial, this audio EQing tutorial. It's a process. Audio is a process. It takes a lot of practice. It takes good equipment to get audio. You probably need a better mic than you do a camera, honestly. I haven't followed that rule myself, but if you're trying to get something to look cinematic, you can achieve that easier with good lights, a cheap camera, and a better microphone than you could with a bad microphone, because bad audio is just not engaging. People will watch people talk to a picture much more than they will watch pretty pictures with audio. So keep all that in mind. Video's half audio, and we've talked about how to EQ it and get it good today in Movie Studio 16 Platinum. I'm Adam. This is Tech Dive AV Club. Thank you so much for watching. Everything you buy through our affiliates links helps us out a ton. Comment below and let us know any tutorial ideas you have in the future. And hope you had a great holiday season.